So my name is Kim Russell, and I am the lead for our work in South Carolina. And our organization is Strong Nation, which is nested as a part of the Institute for Child Success. So Strong Nation is a network of Grasstops leaders who bring their influence, their networks, their abilities to public policy advocacy work that help move the needle to make sure that we're investing well in high quality early education programs for our youngest children in South Carolina. And we are a public policy advocacy group that do public education and policy advocacy work. And we do our work in 3 different unique membership organizations. The first one is one called Fight Crime, Invest in Kids. So it's a group of more than 100 law enforcement leaders from across South Carolina. So there's chief sheriffs and prosecutors, and they come at this work through the lens of community safety. What can we do to keep kids safe and also defer later involvement in crime? My second organization is a group called Ready Nation, and it's 25 business leaders from across South Carolina, and they do this work through the lens of workforce development and economic prosperity. And then my third group is a group of retired admirals and generals called Mission Readiness, and you know how strong the influences of the military in South Carolina. So they come to this work through the lens of national security. What can we do to make sure that our nation is secure? Our business leaders group, Ready Nation, had a national research report that talked about the economic cost of our childcare crisis in our country. And we took that report and we replicated it specifically for South Carolina. So we could talk to policymakers and the public and other interested parties about what the childcare crisis is costing South Carolina in terms of economic impact, how it's impacting families and children, but how it's impacting businesses, and then also how it's impacting the state's economy. And so we released this report, which is the growing annual cost of infant toddler childcare crisis in South Carolina, and said that this was costing South Carolina $1.4 billion a year. We took that report, and 2 of our business leaders did a stand-up press conference in Taylor's at a childcare center and received amazing statewide press from it. So much so that those 2 members got invited to testify in Columbia before the legislative committee, the special select committee that the General Assembly established looking at the childcare crisis. And they were considered expert testimony. And that event also got huge press play across the state. So the one event sort of led to the other, but that's part of what our members do, which is try to shine a spotlight on the problem and then offer policy solutions to policymakers so that there can be some action on things that are really important to move the needle for kids. When I think about our work with Strong Nation and how we work to influence policy on the local level, the state level, and the federal level, I go at the core of why we do it. And why we do it is to make lives better for young kids because they're our next generation. So if our members who can use their really powerful voices and their influence and their networks can speak to policymakers about why investing in young kids is so important, then I think of our members as sort of the unexpected messengers. And therefore they might be heard differently and paid better attention to than someone who looks like me. You would expect a woman to be talking about little kids. You don't necessarily expect a law enforcement leader, a sheriff, a chief, a business CEO, or a retired military general, admiral, the people that have the stripes and stars on their shoulders, to be talking about little kids. And so it can be incredibly impactful. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we built the model.